Hey y'all, Corvo27 here, back with another video sketchbook, this time for the month of September for 2024. Um, yeah, let's just start. These are some 10-minute heads from Ref. Um, this month there's probably going to be a lot more line work and sketching. I was working more on just solid line work and more construction. Definitely more towards like the middle and later of the month. I cracked open a Loomis book I had on my shelf for years, but I just noticed that my art's just lacking a little bit of construction. So I've just, I love drawing. I love solid line work, but it's a little frustrating for me to pull off. But I've been practicing at it and getting better. I can tell I'm getting better, preferring a bit of a more untapered line. I'm trying to mimic a zine chin a lot, but really a lot harder to mimic his illustration style than I had anticipated. But yeah, some more 10-minute heads. Again, happy here, able to get like a loose, constructive indication of what's happening, and then go over the contours of the forms, what really matters. And to be fair, a lot of the ref that I'm drawing, I've sketched or drawn maybe once or twice before, maybe a, a few more for some other refs, but that's why I think it's important to curate your reference, because if you're drawing the poses and accessories and things that you like, and you enjoy painting them, then drilling that in is only beneficial. It makes your drawings look that much better. Yeah, okay, so here I remember one time I was just looking at Zine's art and I was just like, I'm just gonna copy his eyes. I need to copy his eyes and see what's going on here and figure it out. And they're pretty simple, in appearance, but really in order to pull off these sort of gestural, clean, solid lines, you have to have a pretty good idea of the anatomy of the eye itself in terms of like the form wrapping and going back into space while being, in a sort of perspective view or angled upwards or uh, emoting really well, and this wasn't one of his faces. I just put like the nose and lips here, but you could see that with very minimal line work, he's conveying, a face that's not necessarily like anime, granted stylized in an anime style, but just accomplishing a lot with simple, solid, elegant, line work. A lot of great flow to his illustrations. Yeah, some 7-minute heads. Yeah, trying to find, not the longest time to take, and just giving myself enough time to try and, construct something visibly ahead, And again, I'm getting better. Granted, a lot of these are from reference I've sketched once or twice before, but, I like, for 7 minutes, I'm very happy with what I'm getting out of these. Um, but something that works for me, maybe you, is that I'll start with a much broader line for my construction, and that sort of forces me to focus on these big shapes and rhythms, and that just seems to sort of help me, because then I just size the brush down and then go in there for those form contours. Yeah, yeah, some more sevens. These are looking good. These are looking good. Yeah, I'm having trouble with eye placement lately. I've noticed, maybe having one eye a little higher or lower than the other, but again, not the biggest difference. Only in popular media or ads do everyone have like perfect symmetrical features and stuff. But this is good because a lot of these lines are just single big strokes. And just not rushing it as much, considering the form of things. So this is good, and again, there's little anatomical or perspective issues here and there, but been ironing those out, and I'm liking the confidence and sort of the reference here. She has a headdress full of flowers, and just the confidence in approaching this, and like, I'm just doing the face. I could simplify a lot of this detail down, and I start noticing that, in terms of like drawing like a painter, you're sort of capturing a lot of the silhouette or contour of things, and sort of mapping out the major contours of form. And I mean, as simple as that sounds, executing it, that's where the fun lies, right? Excuse me. So, moving on. Some more sevens, it looks like. And again, this is a 16 by 9 page. I literally, I'll have my ref to the side and just have my big canvas here and just a timer. I'll usually use the gesture drawing app. It has a built-in timer and just go up, down, fill the page, and it's good. It's nice to sort of get these solid line work out, and it's good practice. Definitely feels like I'm getting better. And once again, I'm glad I'm doing a video sketchbook to look back at the progress I've been making. But yeah, I think a little bit more construction might help in sort of getting the spacing and placement of these features in, because I'm understanding how to draw the features, but getting them put in there right, sort of building the head, it's a little tricky, but construction can help with that. Oh yeah, I guess I just started this page. These might be a bit longer. This might be like a warm-up page, I think, of maybe fives. Yeah. Yeah, probably another warm-up page, just some quick sketching. Normally, what I'll do is, I'll start in a lighter color. If the pose is under like 1 to 3 minutes, I'll usually just stick with one color, but, I'll start with a light blue and then line it with black or a darker color. And a little bit of just, quick form painting here. Just sometimes I feel like painting a little bit, just getting some brush strokes down. Okay, yeah, a little bit of value painting here with more of a hard edge brush with less opacity, just trying to work more on building stuff. But I think here I got sort of lost in the sauce, all of my values getting a little muddy. With that hard edge, I should have made more, confident decisions in terms of like edges and where forms meet. Like here behind the nose, that's good. With this lip here, that's pretty good too. But I feel this is probably like a 20-minute head, I believe. I think I did it again. Okay, yeah, here I did it again. A little bit softer in my approach, using a rough bristle here. And it reads a little better. I feel like I could probably push my value groups a little further because, this light and this half tone, are only contrasting so much, but then you have these more muddied, darker values just sort of lingering in certain parts of the face. So I think just being a little more uniform in your approach, so just having a more of a focus when you're going through and delineating like areas of like dark or form change, and knowing the not only the anatomy but sort of the planes of the face and head could be beneficial to that as well. The Loomis I've been studying lately has been pretty beneficial in that. And this is the thumbnail for the last video sketchbook, as is tradition. Okay, some iterative painting studies on some noses. Always fun to go back to these. I probably should, I can't help myself sometimes, but when doing quicker studies of only like 8 minutes, or actually I think these are just 5 minutes. Yeah, just 5 minutes each, 8 of them, 40 minutes painting one thing. And, this is my first try here, my last try here, just going through. And with these, it's kind of like a mixed bag sometimes. Sometimes you like your first one, sometimes you like your seventh one. Here, though, this one's got, kind of a nice form read on it, along with the fourth one here. But this one here, where I'm having the stroke direction sort of feed into the rhythms of it a little better. And I mean, it's too busy, but you got a little bit of like hard edge, soft edge for that rounded arch of the or arc of the nose, and then coming down into the bulb. I could have pushed that like downward V here a little bit more, but again, for quick studies, the point is to sort of drill in what you're observing and studying a lot. Okay, yeah, and same thing here with some lips. Again, you just find some reference, crop in, and try and just delineate the values, because, you do this in the same way. You'd probably look at like a cast photo or cast drawing, that sort of thing. But again, liking my stroke direction here. Um, doesn't look too busy. These all look pretty solid. The contrast here is pretty nice. Again, in the last one here, very readable. I'm playing with those edges a little bit more since I've familiarized myself with the construction. Let's see, yeah, fives. Yep, some eye studies. Again, just trying to just figure out those forms. For me, sometimes I can get lost in that sort of just start copying something, but the point is to sort of observe something well enough to recreate it fast. And you're, again, not going for a perfect painting. You're just trying to get an indication of what you're painting within those 5 minutes. Like if you can indicate an eye by itself in a direction, with all the anatomical features there, then that's all you really need, because you can, iron everything out in time. But this iterative sort of painting exercise is, again, help to sort of give you some sort of, mileage and knowledge within your visual library. But these are pretty cool. I like this one in terms of my values grouping. I like the sort of illustrative quality I got going on here with all these, again, brushstrokes sort of going with the forms, and then a little bit of that line decker, wrapping lines over the contour a little bit, over the edge of the shadow contour or shadow edge. I should do more studies of line decker, honestly. But yeah, eyes. Okay, cool. And then, uh, value sketch from ref. Did I title this one? 30 minutes. Okay, 30 minutes. Yeah, so that's not bad. It's not bad for 30 minutes. Again, I could see myself getting better. I'm trying to follow this method I'm learning from Ahmed Aldori's Meds Map, and it's coming together. Like I'm doing good in terms of signifying like this side is getting light, this side is getting shadow. And that shadow edge is very clearly delineated. Like there isn't a whole lot of guessing of what is and isn't in light. And even with this nice sort of mixing and this busy brushwork within the shadow area, since my values aren't all over the place and getting muddy, it sort of works, and I sort of retain a little bit of a core shadow within that overall shadow shape. And then here on the light side, I could probably push that highlight a little bit more, or even more of a mid-tone, but it's fine. With this eye, maybe like simplifying some of this stuff up a little bit, pulling back maybe some of that dark contour around the eye, but again, this sort of triangle shape implying the sort of roundness of the eye coming out. I'm liking it. It's good. I'm liking my progress. I'll figure out hair eventually. you know, Eventually we'll get there. And again, more of the same. I think in this one, um, I might have just got caught up in details a little bit. It looks like I started maybe trying to draw some stuff in a little earlier than I should have. But again, um, I could see I'm looking for those bigger shapes of value, light side, dark side, you know, enforcing sort of that cheekbone area, the other side of the nose, um, the inside of the lips, or the inside of the eye cavity here. But yeah, more and more doing these shorter studies. I usually try to do them to like warm up into longer studies, but I try not to get too down on myself because, a lot of these, if they're only for like 20, 30 minutes, there's only so much you can do, right? And, I'm sure like Craig Mullins could easily, paint something worth framing in that time span, or Sparth, or whoever your favorite artist is. But, that's not the point. And I think that's something important in art, not just with skill or technique, but um, remembering the focus of what you're doing, why of what you're doing, you know. And I know a lot of the fun and joy of art could be sort of the distraction the joy of creation brings. But you know, it's always good to sort of, you know, find a balance. And I'm having to ask myself now, you know, what is it that I really like and what I really enjoy doing. So it's good to sort of hold a mirror up to your own tastes from time to time. It's a good way to reflect and grow. Yeah, another thumbnail for yeah the 30-minute croquis for that last, well, the one before the last, the little quick portrait I did. Since we're zoomed in here, you get again. I'm going in there with a rough bristle brush, you know, and mixing some of this line work in to get those harder and softer edges. You know, zooming in this close, it looks like it could be chaotic and messy, but at viewing distance, it all comes together. Yeah, some simple rendering studies. I think I just probably did these to warm up, you know, like it's always good to make sure you can render a sphere, you know, obviously, and overlap here, trying to get in a little bit of ambient inclusion, reflective light, you know, just reminding yourself. And this is kind of cool. I could have probably pushed this core shadow a little bit more in here, but, and again, you know, recently studying noses, just thinking about it and like, you know, just painting one real quick from imagination. It's good. Nice little tag. Oh, okay, yeah, and some more iterative painting. Um, uh, I was just I was tired of, you know, having trouble setting the features in line and perspective, so I just found a nice crop of a face, um, and just you know, again, 5 minutes each. Tried to, you know, draw it, and I'm pretty messy here. I would have done better if I'd maybe slowed down and maybe carved in the shadow shapes in the same way that I did with like the facial features here. But again, you know, I'm happy with these. I like this here because, you know, again, you could sort of see that front and side of the face. It's very clearly delineated. Whereas in a lot of these, you know, it's a little fuzzy or hazy or scratchy, and it's just a little harder to read. But you know, this is my first one here, going a little slower. But yeah. And again, more of the same. Doing it with a brush I'm pretty fond of, the transparent round. But again, 5 minute iterative studies. You know, and focusing again. Some of these I zoomed in a little bit or zoomed out a little bit on my reference, flipped it around, you know, for these ones down here. Um, and just, you know, again, when you're forced to just redo something over and over, you get pretty the human part of you starts adapting and noticing patterns and figuring stuff out through sort of like muscle memory a little bit. And it's just, again, if you feel like you're lacking mileage, a good way to sort of get that going. But I would say with these shorter studies, you know, don't you know, hold it over yourself if they're not, you know, beautiful finished pieces. They're not supposed to be that. They're like, these are your warm up swings. This is your you know, what you're doing to sort of prepare yourself for what you're gonna do. Just more and more study. Okay, yeah, and a longer rendering. Always a good balance, you know, trying to stay with short exercises and long exercises. Something I still contend with in terms of um, coming back to artwork and working on it for extended periods of time. And I'll get better at it, but it's funny because it's something else you don't think about learning, but something you do have to learn and consider. Okay. I think though, with my painting, I'm still having trouble with edges, being more confident and just deciding like where am I putting my edges, you know, where are my sharp edges, why are they there? And you know, if we look at the eyes here, like this is good. Like this reads pretty well, especially at this viewing distance. But you know, you look at like the nose, and it's just there's a little bit of texture in there, but not enough hard edges, really. You know, even if I had put like more of a hard edge highlight on there, I could have given it more solid form. Um, Same with the lips. More hard edges here, which you can see, but they don't necessarily pop out as much. Maybe if they'd had a contrasting highlight here or something, but Again, unless you're going to be viewing it at this distance, when you zoom out, it doesn't have quite as much like pop, you know. But again, it's still pretty good. I think I probably spent like 90 minutes on this. It doesn't say. I'm gonna assume probably anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. Okay, yeah, this one probably shorter, probably like 25 to 30 minutes. Again, sort of a value study. Um, I'm putting darks in here, but a lot of it I'm sort of leaving the dark side and darks to the same sort of background tone and trying to spend more time modeling these light tones and highlights on the planes. Um, but I'm still working at it, and a lot more artistic creativity. Or creative decision making will come into your work in terms of deciding, this is all in shadow, so it doesn't deserve as much detail, and this is in the light side, so it should be more detailed and thought out. But again, it just comes with practice. Okay, this one came out pretty good. I was just doing a study on a face from ref. I wanted to start studying more expressive or emotive faces, and I'd just been missing painting a little bit, so I did this, and it's a great reference because there's a lot of color in the face, and she's smiling and looking another way, and it's not cropped very well, and there's a hand interacting with the face, and since that wasn't really the focus of it, I didn't really go after it. Obviously, to be honest, I probably could have cropped it out and had a better painting, but again, happy here. I probably could have again pushed some of these shadow shapes or the contours in them just to have a little more contrast, a little more hard edges throughout, just because that'll help with the overlap a little bit more. And again, I'm happy that I'm able to sneak like this orange, red, and violet in here, and this it works. I'm getting a lot more confident with my color selection, but in terms of establishing solid forms, still having a little bit of trouble with it. Again, with this hand just being half-assed, it doesn't really add anything, and I probably should have just cropped it from my final piece here, but otherwise pretty happy with it. Smile could probably be a little higher. The teeth, I think they work, but they're a little shifted to the right a little too much, and this lip could probably be pulled up a little bit more. Like, a lot of this stuff could probably be fixed with just like the liquefy tool, honestly, but I have a nice little background here. Delineating the edge. Should have worked a little harder on that bow, honestly. At least maybe just like a contour, but getting a little better at the hair, not completely forgetting the ear. But again, with this hair, should have added more of a highlight and a core shadow just to add more form to what's there, and that will help the whole piece overall. This cheek highlight here, on the ref, it was like more brighter, but just so pronounced. It's hard to capture that roundness of the cheek leading up into the eye socket, but I kind of got close there. My values are kind of muddy, like not to the point that nothing reads or it's hard to look at, but um, there's just not quite enough contrast, I feel like. Just to give it that much more of an easy read. I feel like the contrast I have kind of going on here, if I'd have like brought that down, pushed that more, especially with the ambient occlusion here that should be present in these smile lines around the muzzle of the mouth. But yeah, still a good study, good work. I probably spent like 2 hours on this, at least 90 minutes for sure. But yeah. Oh, okay, this is just a sketch. This is me just kind of dicking around, noodling around, like having a loose idea in my head of something, and just kind of sketching around, playing with colors, themes, shapes, and stuff, things I like. And looking at it now, I kind of like what I was doing was sort of the construction orange, and the eggshell white there. It kind of reminds me of like airports, like sort of like aesthetics or palettes you'd see at like an airport with the orange sort of windsocks and the eggshell white for a lot of smaller aircraft. Um, yeah, yeah. I like it. It's fun. I should maybe resketch this or something, see about it, because I remember looking at reference for flight headphones, and they usually have this sort of um, green color, almost like a faded jade. And they have like a lot of like, it's a big headset with a big square mic that comes out of it. Um, yeah, I should maybe come back to that a little bit. Okay, yeah, this was just again, feeling like my my drawings and paintings could use a little more form and construction, so I'm just trying to visualize and simplify a form of the head, in terms of like top plane, front plane, side plane, back of the head, front of the head, underneath, and this is nice. I like it. It's simple, but it's meant to be simple, just a reinforcement of like the general form of the head. And I like it. I'm glad I did it. And again, just more reinforcement. I think I was doing some skull studies with some ref. Again, just trying to drill in that general form and shape of the human head. And I'm still not great at perspective, but again, trying to sort of put these in a box to make it that much more apparent. Put them on their side. And these skulls down here are a little more rough, but again, trying to do these light studies to indicate this form. It's just a good test to see where you're at in terms of like what you may think and what you're actually capable of executing on. So I think that's where our practice meets and really enlightens us. Excuse me. I hope you guys don't mind me having some tea. I always get so dehydrated talking about this stuff, but yeah, skull study. It was fun. It's quick. I think I did this in like 25-30 minutes or something. Yeah, I did this for Crowing as an Artist. I forgot the extra A in that title, but anyways, yeah. For that video, this is just the final finished skull. Pretty messy, pretty sketchy, but fun here. And with these hard edges, confident, and you could understand where the form is. A lot of it's sort of left up to like knowing the forms of the skull, but this loose indication, this is good. I like this. Yeah, and there's the thumbnail I did for it. I feel like I'm getting better at my thumbnails a little bit. Some iterative practice. It looks like I started with some noses, maybe got like kind of frustrated or just over it, maybe went to some eyes. Started here and something must have happened. I had to get up to go do something, but this is kind of what I'm talking about in terms of like coming back to your work and being able to like finish something you start. It's very, very important. Okay, here's a longer study. I'm pretty sure this one was at least like 90 minutes, but not bad. Decent likeness to the ref. Fun shapes here in the hair and this sort of stuff. But again, just this general lack of hard edges just leaves me kind of wanting. Just maybe forcing the shadow underneath the jaw here. Or the necklines where these muscles overlap each other. In the eye, maybe. The eye has some hard edges here, but you have to get pretty close in order to like appreciate them. And granted, the reference is pretty softly lit, very soft in tone and presentation, but yeah, I feel like my hard edges are where I'm lacking in my painting right now. That'll be something I'll have to practice. I think I'll have to do some hard edge non-transparent brush studies just to work on my edges. Okay, cool. Yeah, here's a little bit of a longer skull study. Definitely like this one. I'm really happy with all this sort of color I've layered in, and the white sort of speckling to help with the texture of bone, and these layers here. Again, feeling confident with my color. I'm getting better with just sort of this painterly indication, using that ambient occlusion or dark spaces to help with form and contour. But yeah, happy with that. It works pretty well. Again, seeing some spots where, having more confidence or decision making in terms of like hard edge, soft edge, can just, give it that much more of an edge. No pun intended. Oh, this is my little commission sheet. Yeah. I tried to make a commission sheet for my little simple style here, but no biters yet. No one's taken. That's okay though. I'm having a hard time sort of getting a handle on this style. I like it, but again, it's just I'm having a hard time getting it dialed in consistently. Some fives, yeah, some 5-minute head sketches from Ref. Again, 16 by 9 sheet, just filling it up, going through on the gesture drawing app. I like this here. It's nice, good form read. This is great. I just like the reference this is from, but like the big forms and the very elegant and flowing lines. Very reminds me of like Art Nouveau and sort of Muka. Some fives, yeah. Sometimes just wanting to like, let's just do some grayscale painting really quick, 5 minutes, And again, I think having a better focus will lend to better practice, because you can see in a lot of these, I'm sort of starting with a loose head sketch, for some of these, and then going in with tone and kind of fixing it up. When in reality, if I'm going to be painting in value, I should just start painting. There's no problem with having like a loose, sketch to have an indication, but I should really start just building with form, and keep drawing, and painting. Yeah, and I think that'll lend to like better, paintings and pieces overall. Yeah. Oh, okay, here we go. So this is, again, me trying some style practice, trying a simple illustrative sort of drawing style, with flat colors, relying on like good line work and shape design, to sort of carry it. And, again, I don't hate this, but it feels like I'm lacking, a shadow tone just to help delineate forms and force the overlap. And again, with this, this background, it's cute, it works, but it's sort of just accessorizing something that's, it's just sort of help it pop a little bit more. It's not accentuating or complementing it much. This is only as good because it has all like this stuff busy around it, adding to more contrast, obviously. But I think some of it comes down to just having the features placed not only correctly, but just solid line work and consistent in terms of like broken line and showing form with very minimal line. And so something I'm still coming to terms with. But again, I don't hate it. Just not very happy with it. Like, I gotta figure out some other way, to make it better for me, something I like. But again, not bad, good progress, but I'll have to fucks with it more, do more studies. Yeah, some shorter heads. Oh, okay, cool. So this is by this time I had definitely opened up a Loomis book, because you could see these sort of constructive templates. If you've ever done the Loomis method, you're familiar with like the cranium, and cutting off the sides, the midline, sideline, the plane of the face, and delineating it into equal parts. Yeah. And I think just, having that formula, enforcing it, just can really help in terms of giving yourself something to start with. Everyone wants to do direct drawing like Kim Jong-gi or Katsuya Tarada or whoever, but it just takes time. And once you can do this sort of constructing in your head, you can just lay the final line work over that. But it takes time to drill that in. Some more sketchy heads from different angles. But this is good though. Good construction. This is coming through. They all look like heads. They're looking in different directions. I'm getting good lay-ins, so it must be paying off. Oh yeah, I think this is for a Pomodoro near the end. My Pomodoro video. I just decided to do a 25-minute cast study, and probably should have kept the values a little more simple, and could have pushed my shadow lines and contours a little bit more. This chin seems a little short, but fine enough for the time limit I had. And it made a decent thumbnail too, I think. Oh, and this is the intermittent break screen for the 5-minute breaks. This is my intro card, handwritten, of course, or digitally handwritten. And the thumbnail for the Pomodoro. And that might be it for this month. Yeah, it looks like that's it. So, anyways, thank you again for joining me for another video sketchbook tour for the month of September. Pretty good one. Good progress. Say now, I'm sorry I haven't streamed as much. I've come to the realization that I study and paint a lot more effectively when I'm less distracted. So just, minimizing my distractions and even my music and stuff, and just trying to focus and using a Pomodoro timer can really be beneficial. And so I will get back to streaming and doing it more, but just on my own sort of terms, and in regards to what I want to do, what's fun for me. So anyways, thank you again for joining me. I hope if you watch this, you've gotten something fun or cool out of it. And if not, well, I hope you do find something cool and fun. And also don't forget that you are appreciated. You are enough. You are your own tickets to the dope show. And yeah, have a good one.